Hi everyone. When I did the manifold spacer job, come into some problems, and the car was starting fine, and then all of a sudden it wouldn't start anymore. So here's some things I did to investigate. I probably made it longer than it needed to be, so it kind of drug it out a little bit. But then also you can use this if your car is having a hard time starting. You can use these tips to try to figure out what may have happened to your car. So I was checking fuel pressure in this part of the inspection, and there was none. And come to find out that looks like my pressure gauge was damaged from the manifold and spacer install. So here's some videos of me checking that. All right, working on my fuel gauge that is supposed to be filled with, I forget what kind of fluid. I can look that up later, but this one went bad. I can see now it's filled with gasoline. And after I changed my manifolds, manifold spacers, my car is not running right. So usually Murphy's Law is to just undo what you've done to see if that fixed it. But I'm trying to do some basic investigation before I go that route. So I will be on another video. Got this at Harbor Freight, making sure all the spark plugs work. I mean, they are brand new. They should work, but I'm going to do all that investigation. In a previous video, I did made a smoke tester. I'm going to use that on this. Something that I was told that I didn't do in my first smoke test was that I should have capped this end of the neck off where the MAF is connected. I didn't do that, and so while I didn't see any smoke come from this area here or anywhere, I was told that, you know, like water, when it flows, it's going to find the least restricted path. And so, long story short, probably didn't see a leak if there is a leak because I didn't have the MAF capped off. So I've done that. Took the MAF sensor off. So I don't think the smoke's gonna hurt it, but I already had it in checked out maybe a month or two ago, and he said it was running at 99.999. So I mean, it's in good shape. So I'm gonna take this off. It's a 19 millimeter. Put plenty of rags underneath it. This here, Harbor Freight version, I think it says 14 millimeter. It's the black one. I think this is a different size. So the big thing was when I bought this, or the new one was, there was two different sizes. I checked around, and I believe everybody said that 1/8 of an inch is the correct size. I'm a little bit worried because this one's the tightening point here is a different size, but that could be not a big deal. We'll find out. I'll take this off and I'll find out and make this garage smell like gas, which my wife will love. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to keep this one piece that screws into the fuel rail not loosened up. So I'm going to do the, one direction, one way. So we're going righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So this big one's gonna go towards that wall, and the other one's gonna go this way, as long as it's not reverse fit, I hope. So let's find out. There we go. Looks like it's coming out, which is a positive thing. All right. What I've read also is to tighten this in with the wrench, not the head of the gauge. Having troubles with choice of words, and that way you don't damage the gauge. I mean, I'm obviously going to thread it in first. See if any fuel comes out. So far, nothing. I'll tilt the gauge. A little bit's coming out. So, one thing I want to note is this new gauge. So the old gauge here had a little nipple that you were supposed to clip to let, the release if there was any pressures. This one has a rubber nipple, but it doesn't have an area where you nip it. And I looked everywhere I could find. It talked about if you got too much pressure in here, you could pop that out and put it back in. So that's probably what I will do. It also said to think about what was it? Putting in like a Teflon thread. I'm not going to do that. I don't think, unless it's leaking or some kind of sealant, I'm not going to do it. So, it's up to you. I've seen a few kits that have a rubber seal here to here. I forgot the look. This one doesn't have it. So basically it just screws in, and like I said, screw it in hand tight and then tighten it up with your wrench. So also I've read a few articles that said when you're tightening it up, don't over tighten it, of course, like anything. I think that's brass. I would assume this is brass. Well, that one is, and that one is too, brass with a coating over it, like a chrome coating, possibly, or a cheaper substrate, I don't know. But you don't want to over tighten it. And I know, like me, I've kind of got OCD where I like to have everything in the same direction. But if you can't do it, don't do it. It doesn't need to be upright. It could be sideways. My last one, this one was able to be in the correct position, which made me very happy, but with my OCD. But in this case, it may not be. So let's tighten her back up. Went as far as I wanted to go on. Oops. Oh, that's right. It's a different size. Hang tight. There's 11, and it's an 11. So, and obviously, at this time, it is definitely not straight up. So, my abilities to sleep at night are going to be hurt. Just so note, so this extra piece here, obviously you would thread that on too. So it has two different pieces to fit on this fuel rail. Let me think here. You're not really supposed to leave this on 24/7. All right, so the good thing is we are holding fuel pressure when the car is off, and so that's good. Uh-huh. Go. Yeah? Yes. Go. Okay. this setup, I use this new type of squeeze gun. It equally, for the most part, does a good range of applying the product down. I actually read the directions. It said to wait a few minutes before putting it down. And I went ahead and put some on the side that it's going to be joined to. The directions calls for that too. Okay, this time around, I know that this sealant is slow drying, and so what I'm doing is I'm putting the spacer on first, and then I'm going to clean out any of the excess, verify that it does have a good seal, obviously, because I can see from the inside, and put a light from the underside. It's done drying. It's basically kind of like this. It's just a rubber ball. And so I know I've got time, and so game plan is to clean that up, use it like a spatula, clean it up. It says you can use isopropyl. So once I've got that cleaned up and I feel confident, I will be putting this puppy on. All right, spent some time cleaning it up. Well, I installed the manifold cover, and seems like there's no leaks on either side. Both sides was done, and everything looks very good. There was huh. I think I found the problem. It must be a short in that wire, or is there something wrong with that control valve? My new Koto solder holder, I love it. The least amount of complaining I've ever heard. I'm kidding, my kids complaining holding the soldering wires, but anyways, it's not shaky, it's dead on. Installing, redoing my wiring for my harness here, and so far it looks solid. I'm gonna wrap it a little bit tighter and then solder it, and then put that over, and should be good to go. Here's what my connectors look like. They're all pretty ratty on that side, and I think I showed a video a while back that showed one of them being intermittent on the solenoid valve. All right, so after soldering the wires, I put on this newer style connection. It's more modern connection. It doesn't use like the staple, what do you call it, like the staples that hold it into place. It just has a push button. You push in and it releases. And so I did all 4 of those. I replaced the knock sensor and also the wires to this flap control, and went all the way back to here, to the very back of the engine. The taping I use, this is a German tape that's used on Mercedes, and it seems to have done a very good job, and I'm very happy with it. All right, yesterday I tested it as far as after soldering all the wires on the passenger side, or excuse me, the driver's side. And again, this was due to the spacer install, and I believe it stretched some of the wires. And in a previous video that I will share, and I think everybody had seen it, or quite a few people have seen it, showing the where I found a wire connection issue. So let's try this out again. Idiot lights on. Here we go. pretty cold outside. While it is cold out, I can't believe it, just sort of standing still, it lit them up. Okay, recap. I believe the problem was all about due to the wires being stretched over here. And also the connection with the knock sensor was a problem as well. As mentioned, and I put like, gosh, 30 videos together, spanned from the summer to now. I've just been busy working on other cars. And this is not my main car, but had multiple things I worked on. You know, we talked about the fuel rail gauge. It was bad after moving the fuel rails off and putting the spacers in. The wires, when I had touched that one flappy solenoid wire, it had caused a problem. And it wasn't because of disconnection there. It was a connection issue with over here. And I also think it could have been the knock sensor as well. So all those wires on this side have been replaced pretty far back, almost to the very back to where the connection goes to the brains. I mean, it didn't go all the way back, but it did a lot. Wiring harness in this car is probably $2,500 to $4,500. I probably spent $30 or $40 and had plenty of extra parts and bags of connectors that I can work on this side if I want. But right now, I'm going to leave it alone. I need to do some more testing, more than just a 5 to 10 minute driving. I did a lot of up and down the road. You know, you saw the skid marks, start and stopping hard, trying to see if something intermittent would happen. And it was holding on together really strong. So again, if it seems like we're in good shape and she's back to running again. So hopefully it can stay that way. Thanks. As always, please subscribe.